away from CompLexity here by COG. So apparently they thought Riven was worth a ban against Jintae and Megazero.
Yeah, Riven had a really rough start to the day. Up against TBD, they just didn't get very much done, but they never really got off the ground there. So Riven could still be insanely scary. Might as well not give it to him. Take it away.
Yeah,
And he's
so
going
that's
to be the
gonna,
last one off the field, and a quick grab onto Shabambo.
yeah, leaving Shyvana open. They just wanted to get rid of that Annie. Annie is just such a destructive force.
Especially now with the extra damage added on. I mean, we saw
Yeah,
the
the
full force of the
DFC.
damage.
Oh,
Hey, why not?
that's why it gets a little ridiculous at that point. So might
Couple
see
hundred
first
AP.
Lucian of the game or of the tournament.
Yeah, he's been banned out fairly consistently across the day. And with
Yeah.
Sivir off the field, makes sense that Lucian would be the one to slip by. He's going to be joined by Thresh down to the bottom lane. Chuuper MeyeA locked in, and or their lane locked in. Zero and Ninjaken, the ones doing the lock-in. Teemo grab for Ziploc. It's going to happen.
I don't know.
Ready to call it. I'm ready to call it. Teemo's going to go.
We have the
Smite
dead.
goes Teemo, a classic jungle combination in Lithuania.
Yeah,
Jervin Kirksik, a strong Teemo jungler. Oh, but it looks like they're going to give him a buy on it. CompLexity now in with a fighting chance as they take a look at Draven and Lulu. Maybe Urgot? Urgot? Yeah, let's do Urgot. Why not?
I don't know. Urgot's one of those untested champions in 3.14.
Yeah, he was very early on season 3. Saw a lot of Urgot, but he fell off fairly quickly there. They did some kerjiggering, and he didn't make it through. A lot of flipping around because they're trying to give our overlay guy a heart attack. It's going to be Jinx and Janna that finally get locked for COG.
Double J in that bottom lane, and then over for Chuuper and MeyeA, they have the lore lane with the quick grab your dead girlfriend to safety lane. Yeah. That's gotta be hard. That's gotta be hard every time.
Really, every time. Playing on the same side, it's like Kha'Zix and Rengar, which could happen.
Yeah.
Considering how 3.14 started on
it. If we were gonna go all RP on this, you gotta imagine there's some bickering back and forth.
Yeah.
In the middle
or
of
maybe
the
if you would have landed the hook, that kind of.
Maybe if you wouldn't have killed Senna.
Yeah. Oh, you think I want to be here? You think I want to be here? Is that what you think?
Just CS. Just CS.
Good old French Nocturne's going to be ha-hawing his way into a different pick because they put the sit on to Ziggs and make me a little sad. But hey, Renekton going to be looked at. We'll just calm down. Everybody's is trigger happy here. Vi going to get locked after all the flip-flopping, and Ziggs going to be locked in as well.
Okay, so Zamphira, is he going to go for the signature Lulu? Not banned out, but people don't seem to fear it so much in 3.14. Didn't bring it out the previous game that we saw him. So, ooh, nothing here. Immediately locks in the Evelynn for Ziploc. Evelynn very strong. Very, very strong with the vision changes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more opportunities there. Obviously, she's going to be able to control whether or not she gets spotted much more easily. And I mean, even then, during about the mid part of Season 3, I want to say it was, might have even been a little earlier in Season 3, after the reworks finally came through. I think it was 6 years ago we were promised those. Finally got the Evelynn changes last year. Evelynn was very, very strong, both mid lane and jungler. We saw a lot of Dan Din jungle to bring a name straight out of the past. Dan's a solid guy. But yeah, his jungle Evelynn did some fantastic stuff. And a look at COL. I'm really liking what COG is putting on here. They're putting on their fancy pants. They're going to go dancing.
Yeah, COL's a legitimate pick. We saw it yesterday in OGN from Maknoon in the mid lane. And in Frost, they did end up losing that game because it was a mid lane COL against a mid lane Tryndamere, I believe. I think that was that game. It was either game 1 or 2. I ended up falling asleep. So, but COL was played yesterday by Frost. But they had a Vayne. They had a Vayne to put Divine Intervention on, which was basically the whole idea of that strategy. And it's going to be up against the Ziggs. And I kind of give that matchup in favor of Ziggs early on. Granted, COL can sustain, but without the long range permanently, because you have to activate your E in order to get it, Ziggs is going to have a good time poking.
Still one final grab here for CompLexity. What are we looking for? Not a mid laner, top laner. Gotta be what we're looking for out of CompLexity. Unless they're going to lane Vi, which I would watch. But it's going to be a Renekton grab, quick sit and pick there. Am I going to lock it on up? As we're going to roll into our final game of the evening. Cognitive taking on CompLexity. Cognitive going to be running Shyvana, Evelynn, COL. God, I haven't said those names in forever. Jinx and Janna. On the CompLexity side is going to be Renekton, Vi, Ziggs, Lucian, and Thresh. Locked my brain up having to pull those out based on the faces, even though we were just talking about them. Anyway, game 4 of the evening and of the round robin going to be coming up right after this. We'll see who can put a win on the board. At minimum, we're going to be playing through as 6 teams battle it out, see which 3 are going to move on, take on the relegated LCS teams for a chance at glory. A little bit of glory here, but bigger glory over there. Like probably like this is like a recliner of glory, and there's like a full sectional sofa of glory if you beat the LCS guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that you get a gaming house, you get paid so much, and then you get those massage recliners like you're talking about.
You can go to Jack in the Box anytime you want.
No more Taco
breakfast.
Bell?
They do breakfast all day. You know, you want a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit? Bam. It's done. Jack in the Box all day long.
PM?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. 2 a.m., 6 in the morning. You want a burger 6 in the morning? No problem. They'll make it for you. McDonald's across the street, what are they going to say? No, it's breakfast time. Get out of here. All right, well, go to Jack in the Box. Get yourself a burger. Get yourself a Spicy Jack's chicken sandwich. You know what I mean? Do what you want to do. That's what's nice about Jack in the Box.
Man, you're making me so hungry.
Sometimes Taco Bell's closed. You got to go to Jack in the Box.
All right, so looking at the sports here, we're going to see a little different of a game here in the bottom lane than we've seen normally throughout this tournament so far. They're both taking exhaust, and they both started with the ancient coin. So they don't have the offense from something like Spell Thief's Blade, or I think we haven't seen a Targans yet. We haven't seen a Relic Shield.
No.
But both of them going for that passive.
Ziploc going to run it on out. Takes a good chunk of damage at the front. COG not getting the better of this one. Cris going to get run off. Ziploc's getting it back into good shape, but CompLexity, they just got the range on this one, and COG going to get forced out. Blue going to get stolen away here unless they come sliding in at the last minute. 4 strong over onto blue buff goes CompLexity, and they've got it.
Yeah, it's a 4v5 as well, because the lane swap that they ended up initiating from CompLexity puts two people in the top lane. So they just brought Jintae into the mid, and they're like, oh, we have 4 here versus your 3. They had to back off or they were going to lose somebody.
Does give cognitive time to switch it around. They're going to go 2v2 up top and not let Chuuper walk away with any free farm here. Going to make sure that Shyvana doesn't end up behind Renekton, as they'll be in a 1v1 lane. Although Renekton already off to just a rousing start there. 10 CS and Shyvana just getting the lane. Obviously, that's something a Shabambo should be able to get back. Plenty of lane clear from the big dragon lady.
Yeah, this lane's always really back and forth from what I've seen. We've seen people take it in Renekton's favor, and we've seen people take it in Shyvana's favor, and it really just depends on what do you do to Shyvana early on, and they both scale extremely well, and they both fulfill the same role, wave clear engagement types. So, very similar champions. One sustains more than the other, but the other one wave clears a little bit better. So Shyvana, you know, if he gets pushed in on, he's going to be able to push that right back.
Is this going to be our first non-lane swapped game of the day?
I think they tried swapping it. Okay, yeah, it is. It is, because everybody lost a turret very early on because of lane swaps and because of 3v1s. So this is the first one where they swapped it back.
Yeah,
well,
yeah, last game was...
They lost 1 turret, and then they swapped it.
Yeah, and then they swapped it, so yeah, that's when...
The 1 turret did go down, though, but they swapped it back really early this time.
Looks like the ping issues are still at play, which we had a little taste of when we logged in. The game was already about 10 seconds behind. We brought it up to live. Hopefully not going to be too much of an issue, and the lag issues will abate.
Yep.
But they might not. So in the meantime, head over to wellplayed.org/Atlantic Battle of the Atlantic and the promotion tournament. Going to be tickets are on sale for that. There we go.
Yeah, and if
my brain bailed on me in the middle of that.
And if you can't spell Atlantic or Well Played, I believe they're somewhere on LOL Esports.
Yeah.
Probably want to get rid of those.
They'll link it in the chat as well.
Yeah.
So just get your clicker finger ready, and you'll be all right.
Ziploc started with Blue Potion, the one that gives you extra AP, and that's something we saw over in the OGN as well. We saw Evelynn start with that for the early damage. He's sitting at 55 AP at level 2, this early on in the game. So he's looking for some ganks, looking to try and make himself a presence, but his blue was stolen away, and I don't believe he has one right now. He just has a red, sitting on that, has the Elixir of Brilliance. So I think he's very low on mana. He's very low on mana, so he's probably going to have to back before he gets use of that. I don't think any early gank's going to come out from him. He's looking for him. He wanted them, but very, very mono-dependent champion on Evelynn. You just spam the Q. All
that's
game.
right. There was recently a video.
A Reddit thread
about how to jungle Evelynn.
Extremely accurate.
Painfully true, yes. Right now, COG keeping their distance in the 2v2 lane as CompLexity floating around looking for hooks. COG not wanting to give him anything for free. Megazero got the lane pushed into turret one more time. Cris has managed to pull it back. Got there in time to soak up most of the lane. He's only 4 CS back now. Jungle's 12 to 11. Mid lane, however, going to be a little bit rough. Obviously, Zamphira going to have to basically wait for Righteous Fury. Those Qs from Jintae just got plenty of room on him, putting him out to an 11 CS lead. Right now, nothing here. Up 2 as we roll through 4 minutes 23 seconds. There we go. Nice. This could be accurate.
Yep.
Striving for accuracy here.
So Ziploc picks up a Doran's ring on his first back. Doesn't want a machete yet. Just wants full-on AP and to just shred people down. So he's going full offensive on this. He's not looking to farm up the jungle. He's looking to make plays, which, you know, you should do as Evelynn. Nobody has vision of you early on in the game. And speaking of vision of people, no wards up top. Ninjaken in the vicinity.
Walking up through the tri-brush. Going to come on out. A little bit of a battle of the wills down bottom as Megazero and Cris beat on each other. Going to give time for Ninjaken to get into the brush. He's got to push it a little bit farther forward there. We're going to be able to move into the mid brush now. Brush changes obviously affecting the way lane ganks work there, as you have to put well forward of center. But COG playing well back here. Ziploc going to come up, walk in, unbothered, and just check the brush. Find nothing in the front side brush. They haven't pushed it over quite far enough.
Ninjaken just left.
Yeah, he bailed, didn't he? He recalled. Didn't even see that.
Ziploc not going anything. Ziploc not going for anything either.
He's going to roll it on down through, yeah. Just checks on out. Uneventful appearances there. Bottom lane obviously going to be one of those ones that they'd like to take a look at some point. You got the 1v1 down there, but it's really going to take somebody getting somebody over a barrel. We saw this, not a lot of changes to the way this sort of meta works. Just basically beat on each other. If you can get a turret, you get a turret. If not, what are you going to do about it? Nobody can really put enough damage there.
Yeah, just back and forth. 2 Titans, the Lizard lanes. And Evelynn, Ziploc, he just had his Elixir of Brilliance wear off, so he doesn't have those extra boosted stats. And Ninjaken, he's looking for something in this top half of the map. I think he's going to try... No, he's not going to contest the blue. It's not up for another minute. So he's just going to farm. Yeah,
Zamphira doing what he can to keep the farm up himself in mid lane, so playing it well back. Not really any opportunities there as Jintae hasn't moved too far forward. Doesn't really need to.
They're doing a great job in the middle there. Zamphira playing Kayle. You know, a lot of people aren't used to facing a Kayle in the mid lane. It's something that just recently got picked up. And back and forth with Jintae, Zamphira has an HP and mana advantage over him, but no CS advantage. It's looking good for him right now.
Yeah, fairly even on the overall. Got Renekton pushing out to a bit of a lead there. Obviously, every time Jintae gets himself a wave, he gets a little bit of a boost, but really an admirable job by Zamphira keeping it in there. It's so insanely easy to get pushed out by a Ziggs, especially when you're, you know, basically a melee champion until your E comes up.
Yeah, basically. Well, you are.
Yeah, well, your Q, I guess, if you want to last hit with Q.
Yeah. It's a lot of mana, though, to expend on a CS. That's basically the trade there, is if you zone him out, you make him use all of his mana on superfluous stuff to try and CS where he could have just used his E. And he's maxing the Q first, which is standard, because I believe Righteous Fury doesn't go down in cooldown with ranks. You have to get cooldown reduction, which he's getting with that Stinger, so he's looking for a Nashor's Tooth early on to get that attack speed for the shred from the passive and just increase the amount of effectiveness his E's going to have.
Obviously, a wonderful scaling item there. It's just nice to see a sort of more on-hit oriented champ out on the field. You don't get to see a lot of them. You got like Teemo, a couple people like that, but you don't get a lot of it. You might see it on Ziploc. I like to add a little attack speed in on an Evelynn build.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And he's coming around.
Maybe some excitement. Are we going to start it up? Gonna look for it. MeyeA gonna get slowed down. He flashes out. Lantern's there, so Chuuper could just walk away. Gonna get a flash back, however, as nothinghere's got a flash out of the danger zone.
That was a really desperate type of gank. He used it only on MeyeA. MeyeA immediately flashes under the turret. He was a little far up, so I think Ziploc's getting a little frustrated that nothing's happening with an Evelyn. Because that maybe could have waited for them to push up a little bit, but he just wanted to make a play.
Yeah, it hasn't really been anywhere to make a play either. I've been largely slightly forward of mid for Megazero down bottom. It's going to be a long walk back to the turret for him, but he'll very likely make it through. It's just so hard to burn through a Renekton. Same thing in mid lane. It has been dead center all game long for both Zamphira and Jintae. Nobody's been able to push it out. Zamphira not going to be like to because he doesn't want to get pushed over to the turret with somebody that can control the lane well. Got a lot of slowdown, and Vi comes roaming out of the jungle. A lot of reasons for Zamphira to play it back. But Jintae hasn't pushed the lane into his turret, so even on the short lane, not a lot they could do.
Yeah, and down bottom, CS is in favor of Megazero currently by about 10. But they haven't purchased any items yet. And it looks like Ninjaken wants to free up Megazero to back.
Ooh,
whereas
Ziploc close.
Yeah, he's not going to be in a position to do what Ninjaken's doing right now. If they get a gank here, Megazero back for free, push the wave. I'm not sure ultimate available.
Good chunk of money sitting on Megazero right now, so very likely just in prep for a recall there. Cris going to take the full brunt of it. Ult's going to land, flashes forward, gets him as far away as possible. And Cris does manage to get out of it. Spends everything he's got, but he makes it through.
Yep, but Megazero and Ninjaken don't use either of their flashes. Only Chris's is used.
Thinking about staying in the area, but Ninjaken finally going to clear it on out.
Yeah, they're looking for this back, so he's trying to free up Megazero so he can back for free. But Ziploc off on the side. Nothing's going to come of this. Actually, is he going to stick it around? No, he's going to back. So I was like, you get a gank like that, you shove the wave. Yeah.
Quiet early game here to the detriment of Ziploc. And is going to cancel the back just after Ziploc checks out. And Megazero going to stay on the lane, keep getting the money. Cris was hoping to send one over, but it's just not going to happen.
Just use slice and dice.
Ziploc going to come in. He's got no escape mech right now. Ult's going to get dropped, and Megazero got a long run, got a little greedy, and he pays for it. First blood to Ziploc.
He just used his slice and dice to CS, and that's when you go in. It's like when a Zed uses his W, Living Shadow, to try and CS. You're immediately like, he just used his escape mechanism. Ezreal uses his E, you're like, okay, he's not getting away. So,
and the change to the vision game there, absolutely crucial to Ziploc's gank right there. I mean, he's been quiet all game long, giving CompLexity no real reason to come dropping stealth wards, vision wards, anything in the area. And they paid for it right there. Ziploc getting in with a nice gank. Good for him. Very patient.
And so up top, they shove this wave down. Nothing really come of it, using the culling to clear it out.
Going to take some good damage. Nothing here moving forward, but they can't catch it up. Chuuper going to be able to get away with the dash. Still only a 300 gold difference right now as the CS lead going to belong ever so slightly to CompLexity. First blood money going to give Cognitive just a teeny tiny bit, and a very, very close game on the overall. You can see the CS money difference in mid lane more or less being made up there by nothinghere and his CS numbers. Cris very even, got the assist money, going to make things up to 13 gold there, or 13 CS there.
Yeah. And in the mid lane, still no Nashor's Tooth completed, but there's just pause coming out. So I'll keep my thoughts to myself for right now until we start.
You do it. Don't you do it.
No.
Don't waste that precious content.
Nope. The content, don't want to use it all.
If you spend it, we'll run out.
So what would you think would be like a great Kale build? To get the Nashor's Tooth, is he going to go full AP and get like a Raladin's Death Cap because it synergized with the Nashor's Tooth? Or like, what would you like to see? Because Kale's build's pretty much up in the air at this point. You can go full AP, or you can get something like a Lichbane for like a big hit.
The big thing is, right, the way Nashor's Tooth stacks up, you gotta have that AP to back it, or you just feel really anemic. Like, even if you got the attack speed up, because I played around with those builds a lot, because I love them. Lulu, especially, you know, go...
So it's like
just get attack speed AP and burn people down as quick as you can. But yeah, you really got to stack it up because it works off your bonus AP. I think.
Yeah,
15% of your bonus AP. So you're gonna want you want as much AP as you can possibly get under your belt so that your auto attacks hit as hard as humanly possible.
So it's kind of like a Diana, but less all in your face stats because she would get something like an Abyssal most of the time, where I think Kale would neglect that because she's not always right up in people's faces.
Yeah, and certainly you've got the ult to sort of bolster the back line as well. You know, like if you need it on yourself, you put it wherever you need it, but you really shouldn't be as in there as Diana's going to be. So you can afford to go, you know, for some other things on the other side of it. If you really want to, you know, bolster up the attack speed and stacking and things like that, throw Rage Blade in there, because why not, right?
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to see a lot of things could work.
Ooh, we get the pull across here, and Janna ult's going to send him straight back, drops the box a little too late. MeyeA going to be denied. Ult spent on both sides, but good money paid for Zaineking right there.
It's just a little bit of latency lockup, I believe, in between abilities allowed him to place the box, or made him place the box a little too far to the side. It was a great monsoon there, great reaction time. I thought nothinghere was going to dodge it because he moved up to try and dodge the death sentence, but it ended up getting him anyway. And 4 converging top. But no, Kale's going to get called back.
Megazero going to be running.
And bottom.
Turns it around. Yeah, very, very quiet down there. I mean, it was a nice move by Ziploc, but shows that, you know, you might be able to move Megazero out. Right now, Cris getting some good work put down. Megazero doesn't get too big before it's time for a trip down there. Might be still in good shape for a gank. Look, top lane just been really... Yeah.
The big thing is that it's still even in gold for the most part, despite Cognitive having that first blood with an assist on top of it. The gold has been kind of back and forth. They've really just been pushing and pulling with the waves. Like right now, there's just 100 difference between these two teams, when it really should be more like 600, considering that. So I believe that CompLexity's got a CS advantage here. Top lane, mid lane, only when they're losing is really in that ADC area.
Really could be a more different look than game 1 of the day, where we had both top and bottom outer for respective teams down inside 3 minutes and 45 seconds. It's really slowed down a lot. 14, just about hit 15 minutes here. 20,000 gold, all told right there. Jintae finally getting pushed back. Zamphira starting to get a little too beefy there. Damage-wise.
Yeah, Zamphira, I want to see how he plays this Kale. I really want to see how he builds it. Because Kale, we saw it in Korea, and now we're going to see it in NA. And these are high-level players, and Megazero might be in trouble here. I think he'll probably get out of this, though.
Fall. Megazero spins the ult.
He's good.
He's okay. Unless, nope, Evelyn up top side. Not going to be able to do anything about it. Vi in the area top, it gets there too late.
Yeah, there's a good rotation by both of these teams. They realize where the junglers are. And despite there being an Eve, Ziploc's only gotten one sneaky gank off. He's looking for his second one of the game here.
Got
but they're just going to back off. They're playing it so safe.
Yeah. Keeping it well back. Got themselves a turret and don't want to end up paying back with this same turret. Ninjaken getting chased down. Kale going to swing through. A pause from Chuuper could not have been more timely, as it'll buy Ninjaken a little bit of time. Maybe get that last will and testament written up. And, yeah, he's going to have to hope for the best.
And Cris actually went to go dirty farm between the turrets. Just said, see you, Megazero, I'm going to go over here. And so Megazero's going to have to...
He'll walk over and do the same.
Yeah, he's trying to. If he goes around right now, he'll miss the wave. So he has to go right up and meet it. So Cris is going to look to back inside that bush, but it could be stopped by something like a Mega Inferno bomb if Jintae throws it. You could delay the back. I'm not sure. It's just little things like that. But then Kale might all in because he doesn't have it. There's just a back and forth. But if they pinch Ninjaken in here with Evelyn and Kale, he'll have to go over the wall. I don't know. We'll have to see how it pans out.
A little bit chunky lag on the CompLexity side of things. Not great if you're an AD carry. Not great really if you're anybody. I had one of those times the server, it was when they were having their FiOS connectivity problems, dude. Oh man, I was up around. I would spike to about 200 milliseconds, and I just because I've always had good ping, so I'm just like, these guys complain a lot.
It feels like a lot. It feels like a lot. Because you get used to the response. You're like, oh, it's extremely quickly. I'm playing 36 ping. And then when you're playing with a fifth of a second between all of your commands, Ziploc's just stalking.
He's just taking it. Oh, wait, where did that go? That went over to Ninja.
It went over to Ninja. Ninja ended up smiting. Ziploc made his heart race a little faster for a second.
That was a pride situation there. That was, no, you can't have it. It's mine. So now they just run to Dragon. Easy peasy.
I don't know if they will, though.
Easiest thing in the world.
Yep, they're sitting on a lot of gold, though.
They've got the numbers. They might actually do it. My squeaky voice is back because I'm excited.
Well, Zamphira Zamphira and Cris are both sitting on 1,900 gold. Megazero just bought. Jintae just bought. So there's 4K unspent gold on the side of Cognitive right now, even more than that. So if they were to fight right now, the combat stats would be in favor of CompLexity.
One of those things that definitely is going to come into play here. 17 minutes in and almost 1,000 gold sitting out front of COG right here. CompLexity check the area, find it to be in a decent order, and will themselves attempt to murder this dragon.
And so Cris just went back. He just bought Spectre's Cowl, and they're going to give over the dragon for free. Try to contest it there with a zap.
Did not spin the smite to do it.
No, it was could have been close.
And another pause here as the lag getting the better of the sides. A 200 gold difference.
Is Dragon up? We can't see it. And CompLexity's like, yeah, we killed it.
It was invisible the whole time.
So they have a ward in there.
They do, yeah. You can just see the edge of it under Jana there on the minimap.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all the way in the back. They couldn't see the dragon. That would definitely hinder your attempts to steal.
Is that not over the wall? No, that's in the... It looks... God, it's really hard to tell where that is. Might be in the brush around the wall. Let's check it.
Over the wall.
It's in. Yeah, it's over the wall there.
Yeah.
So they do have a ward in. Vision ward not doing its thing.
They're like right out of range of each other. I'm not sure.
Or it might be and they just didn't check before the pause came in.
Yeah, if you pull the dragon out of the pit, that ward you won't be able to see it. So CoL finally finishing the Gnasher's Tooth. Has about 300 gold, 400 gold left after buying the Amplifying Tome. So that'll build into something. He might build that into a Void Staff. He could change that into DFG. I don't know. But he's not going straight for a Rabadons is what it looks like.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, you would have been pretty close to ready for Blasting Wand. Doesn't grab it. 2v2 lane gonna resume bottom as they send the soloers up top. CompLexity take a couple shots off of nothing here, shake it off and walk it away. Still only a single kill, a single turret on the board. First dragon pickup gonna go to CompLexity to keep things competitive. 18.5 minutes in, and nobody really wants to fight anybody. They just want to farm. That's what they're here for. And kudos right now to Ziggs. 200 farm.
18 minutes.
18.5 minutes.
Whew. That's impressive. That's actually really impressive. I think that's the highest CS per minute we've seen so far today. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fairly low CS games all through the day. A lot of early action led to a lot of swinging things around. Right now, going to have about 30 more gold per minute than CoL, who's keeping pace very nicely. Again, worth mentioning, and CoL not a part of that first blood grab. 178 CS there. Going to have a little bit of global gold off of the tower, and that's pretty much the end of it right there. But yeah, falling behind
Ziploc.
Just a touch. Going to be short on that knockup.
Ziploc off on the side. They didn't see him yet. Out. They haven't seen him yet.
The vision changes.
Evelyn is kind of like you're playing a rogue in Skyrim or something. You're like, did you see me? And you just walk straight around them. He's going to find a pink ward here, though.
Megazero going to get run off by Cris, maybe? Megazero going to come back in. He wants it. That golem's his. He paid good money for it.
Uh-oh.
Never know how that ended. MeyeA going to get caught with not a cork. Flash over the wall. Going to get Ziploc to safety.
Converged on him as he was killing the pink ward. Knew that he was going to have to blow the flash to get out of there. Eve, no other escape tools except for running around really fast.
Yeah, which is a pretty good one.
Oh, yeah, it's really good.
Not the best if there's a wall in the way.
I was always thinking, like, Ghost should let you run through a wall once. That'd be amazing, right?
Yeah, just one wall.
Yeah, because it's Ghost, right? That's what Ghosts do. They go through walls.
And Blue Wraith. Oh.
Nope.
Over to Megazero.
He claimed it. He tagged it first.
He's the best. Man, Cris just second best there. Gonna push it on in. Big lane clear out of Jintae means nothing doing. It's just keeping the CS numbers climbing towards the roof.
So we have the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith coming out for Ziploc instead of going for the Lizard one. So that's a little bit of a change from 3.14 because this has that passive on it that gives you the restore, the 8% of your spell damage dealt to monsters is both health and mana. So it's got a huge amount of mana regen on it when you use abilities. Based on your damage too. So the more you scale, the more you get back. As opposed to just like a flat regen.
Yeah, that's another one of the big changes. One of the ways they try to frame it, at least, is the way people scale now. So things are going to scale a lot more, especially on the support side of stuff, which is always nice. Support and junglers basically try to make it so that they scale up to be more effective without having the exact same gold income as the big money hustlers around the field. Chuuper and nothinghere going to 1v1. And nothinghere going to win it in a big way. I was just waiting for the Chuuper damage to burn nothinghere down. He's just hanging out in that ultimate, nothing doing though. As the ult comes out from nothinghere and sends Chuuper back to the pile for the second kill in 22 minutes of play. Nothinghere going to grab that one, put it under his belt, and add some much-needed gold onto the COG side. They've been playing strong. The only ones to grab a turret so far, Zaineking following MeyeA down. They've got a turret there, and he'll be able to get away. Hook's going to come down. And Bach's going to lock Zaineking up under the turret. Just not enough range on it. Chompers will lock down Zaineking, but he gets out okay. Or MeyeA locked up by the Chompers. Blech.
Yeah, no.
Read what I'm looking at instead of what I should be saying.
And so a lot of people are actually just farming up about 2k gold and then backing. So it's a lot of this is about just staying in the lane, and not a lot of kills come out. 2 in this 22-minute game. That's really, really low. That's like a kill every 11 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's
solid.
Slow.
That's action-packed, I'd call it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Bottom out are going to fall. Second turret of the game. Both of them belong to COG, and those are not minor grabs by any stretch of the imagination. One of the things that you got to be looking at, where has CompLexity been versus where has COG been? Cris been playing it well deep into CompLexity territory. COG just been running the front a little bit deeper, a little bit more often. CompLexity going to try and make a move on it now to rectify that. Make sure that they've got some places to move around the field. Going to grab themselves a bottom outer. Push through 23 minutes, and we've talked about this in previous games that got off to a slow start.
Dragon's
Dragon going to be, 10 seconds to Dragon. Like you said, these team fights are going to matter all the more because of how deep into the game we're going. Respawn time is going to be long. Zamphira grabbed up, going to be able to drop the ult on himself, but he's got nowhere to go. CompLexity definitely going to walk away with one here. Zamphira down and out off the field. Cognitive going to try to fight it. Ziploc doing what damage he can. Can't get Lucian finished up. That one's going to go over to Jintae. Chase now on to Cris. Ninjaken working out the back. Does get away. Nothinghere finally into the fight. Cris runs the front but runs out of juice. CompLexity going to walk it away. 2 kills grabbed for them. Going to put them out to a 400 gold lead. The number's just so small. Zaineking over the wall goes MeyeA, and he's going to be denied. Chuuper in trouble. Cris going to pick it up. Ignite burns him down.
I was going to say that was great self-restraint by CompLexity to call off the 2 for nothing there, because they didn't lose anybody. But then Chuuper going off to go farm middle, and then also MeyeA was being extremely aggressive and actually forced the ultimate and the flash from Zaineking there for his own flash. So it's a good trade overall, and CompLexity take a lead right now, I think for the first time in the game.
Gonna slow things down just a little bit more. Second Dragon of the game for him. The gold difference over time has been back and forth and never particularly huge. Cognitive managed to swing it out to 1.5k gold in their favor. Now basically the same thing happening here for CompLexity. Cris going to spin that ult to get out of dodge. Ziploc working the jungle and will be there just in case of emergency. Not going to happen though. Baron was mighty upset, but it will not come to much. And now I've got it back down inside of 1,000 gold. Just nobody eking out much, and both teams, the longer this game goes on, going to be all the more hesitant to engage, going to be looking for that perfect team fight, because that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, that team fight is going to matter a lot, and CompLexity, they just had a really great team fight there. We saw the engagement from MeyeA with a death sentence over the wall, immediately throws back the lantern, and Megazero is the one to take it. He decides, we need that big croc right in the middle of everybody, and he was a lot of damage with his dominance on top of his Sunfire and the COL of the Meek.
God, look at these CS numbers too. Just
highest
really crazy.
Today.
Yeah, I mean, by and large, the highest we've seen today. 267 on nothinghere. I mean, we've been talking about Jintae. It's, I mean, the lane clear not that much harder on a Jinx, but man, 267, 252 on COL in the mid lane. Zamphira been working it. Both of the solo laners, 244 to 228 there with Megazero, trailing just a touch. Ridiculous numbers on the CS count. It really, Lucian letting the side down with 227. What other game could you say that is a bad spot to be?
Yeah, this game has a high CS numbers, and Zamphira, we were looking at his build earlier. It looks like he turned that Amplifying Tome into a Sheen, and he's going to turn that into a Lichbane here. So he's going for the scaling, because Nashor's Tooth has a scaling off of AP, and Lichbane has a scaling off of AP. So he's looking for that 40-minute game at this point. He's going to need to pick up that Lichbane, then maybe a Rabbitin's Death Cap, or some other type of large AP item to really get his build going. Because that's what he needs right now, because right now those items aren't very heavy hitting. They rely on other items.
And once he gets the AP backing for it, assuming he does, the game hasn't really been in much of a rush thus far. No reason to think he won't get there, but once he does get there, if he does, he's going to be hitting extremely hard and relatively quickly as well. It's going to be a very scary thing, especially you start off with that Q. It means if somebody gets caught out, it's going to be big pick time for Zamphira all over the place. It's going to be a very hard man to get away from.
They're looking for something in this mid lane. Of course, Megazero and Cris, it's basically that whole who's going to go to a different lane first and leave the turret open, but neither of them have done it, and they're both going to keep pushing and getting CS.
Cris been a little bit stronger with the pushover because that outer turret makes it harder for Megazero to get the job done. Megazero going to swing down to mid, which means Cris goes up, does a little bit of spring cleaning, going to send another line into the turret mid. Outer still under attack here from CompLexity. Cognitive in the area, though, and shouldn't come to too much. Not going to quite clear him away.
Here comes Shyvana from the backline.
Ults out, Zamphira and Zaineking run low. Out goes Ziploc, and a beautiful start to a fight here by CompLexity. Cris going to pull MeyeA over, picks up the grab there. Nothing here, going to get the ult from Zamphira. Very, very late. Q comes out, awkward lag coming in there. Not sure if that was just for us or for them. Going to get a little bit of jitter. It's not going to stop the fight, though. Mid-outer falls. Megazero, too big to be denied, comes in, runs everybody away. A very nice start there for CompLexity. Made an opportunity and capitalized on it nicely.
So Megazero was going to be a little late to the fight, and Cris was beating him there, actually. So Ziploc engaged a little too early, threw down his ultimate. Wasn't as tanky as you would think, considering you get more of a shield from your ultimate the more people you hit. So he didn't have the damage there, and Cris is trying to contest this.
Gonna walk in, and can't get it. Ninjaken, no good on the smite.
Ziploc's the one with the smite, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. It's
that's
one of those days, man. It's one of those days.
Shyvana, you think, jungle from season 3.
Yeah, that's where my brain goes.
But then you're
still
just
could have gotten it with the twin bite. Could have just chomp right there.
That'd be a lot of damage, though.
I'll pretend is the way it could go. And big grab onto Zaineking. Nothing here, run low as well. CompLexity with a run.
That was a
4-4 the kill count, 2-2 on the turrets.
Literally exploded right there.
Yes.
Oh.
Became a mist in the wind.
Despite having more gold, apparently supports are still prime targets to take down. 2 levels down on Zaineking right now, only level 11, and MeyeA sitting at level 13. So that probably contributed a lot to that.
The pickups onto the not getting CS money item could not have picked a better game for that.
Yeah.
Just a ton of CS around the field if you stand anywhere near it. And goodness gracious, you're going to be in good shape. 315 the CS count now for Jintae, who is going to have to change professions if he keeps this up. We'll get him a tractor, some cows, because he is farming.
Yeah, and speaking of those items that give you the passive farm, they've each gotten about 1,100 gold from their Talisman of Ascension at this point in the game. So it's definitely paid itself off.
Ward dropperage, and Megazero finishes one off. Slicey dicey, and down it goes.
Oh, MeyeA looking for something. Talisman of Ascension used, but not going to follow up on it. They're just going to get this turret off.
And now rolling it on in. Baron buff spinning on all 5. Going to be hard to get CompLexity to leave. They've got plenty of lane clear, and that knock-up onto Megazero going to come to very little as the Lantern from MeyeA is in range. Q through. Ninjaken going to tank out mid-inner, and they've got the damage to put it down. Ziploc rolling forward quick fast. He's going to back it up.
They still have a outer top turret available, so if they rotated up there, they'd get a very easy turret, but they still want to contest this middle. And blue buff is up, so they would be able to get that as well if they swung that way.
Looking on a 4th, not a bad spot to go as the line comes in. Going to get the knock-up from Janus. Shields there, and they'll just have to wait. Try it again. The lane clear right now for Cognitive, buying them a lot of time. Chuuper working what he can from the side. Lantern there in case of emergency. Not going to be pulled, though, and ticking that inner turret towards half health. Not quite going to get there. Shielded up, and...
I think we're going to have full builds before we have an even team fight.
Yeah, it's right now.
Just 4-4.
Been a very quiet game. Mid-inner going to fall. Cris walking it away, gets caught up. He's going to grab the ult from Zamphira and use it to leave the party. As the Baron Buff fight's still not something that they're looking for. Mid-inhibitor turret under attack. They're just going to fight it under the turret. Decide they're strong enough to go for it. COL off the field. Zaineking hook. Couldn't get out. Flash spent for naught. And down goes mid-inhibitor turret. Mid-inhibitor going to follow it off the field.
As Zamphira got locked up there as well, we have the Ruthless Predator from Megazero jump right in there. And then we also have the Assault and Battery from Ninjaken lock him up because his ultimate, his Divine Intervention, was used on Cris to prevent his death. But he ended up paying for it himself.
In big lane on the bottom here, they're going to try to do what they can, but they're going to send nothing here back to the pile. Down goes Lucian. Ziploc out as well. Chuuper going to be a part of that 1 for 4 on the overall. Ninjaken gets away. Cris can't come back into this one. He's going to poke from the outside, but they're going to lose a second inhibitor.
Megazero actually opted for a Thornmail in this situation, despite there being a lot of magic damage from the side of Cognitive. Kale does magic damage. Shyvana's primarily magic damage, and Evelyn as well. So it's really only Jinx he's worried about getting on.
Does it only count the attack damage from a basic attack? I never looked into it, because it doesn't specify.
It's basic attack.
It says a basic attack damage. All damage you get from a basic attack. So does that apply on hit? I never looked into it. That's the only reason.
For applying on hit? I wouldn't imagine that it does.
Yeah, that's crazy. I just never looked into it. It made me think about it since a Thornmail into a Kale.
Maybe something like a like a Trinity Force might, because it comes out as one number.
Yeah.
When they hit you with the Trinity Force proc, so I don't know. Somebody's got to do some testing on that.
Because it does come under like everything falls under Righteous Fury when you're auto attack. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody knows when they're yelling about it.
Magic damage stacked on top of it. Yeah.
They're super angry at us. They're like morons. Which is fine, because that sounds like a delicious French snack to me.
Ooh. Morons?
Would you enjoy a moron?
Yes, I would.
See? Quite pleasant. Delicious snack. Chuuper and Ninjaken going to work top outer down. Not going to see any fight out of Cognitive on this one. CompLexity out and running, man. Going to push it up to nearly 10,000 gold. If they had a little bit of farming to do, they could get it there.
When there's a break,
340 CS for Jintae.
When there's a break, there's food talk is pretty much what it's come down to.
Yes. That's how it works. Moving into top inner. COG likely to contest this one. Cris running the front to get rid of whatever he can. He's up at 315 on the CS counter. They have slowed the CS numbers here just a bit as it's come down to time to move things around the map. Jintae not slouching though.
So they've been relying on MeyeA's hooks.
And a ton of damage on it. Nothing here. Not going to get it though. It's going to land on a Zamphira. Might force 2 out though.
Ziploc is standing behind them in the lane. Just standing there.
Nothing he could do. Got off to a slow start and just really never got that motor running. 1-3-1 on Ziploc in the jungle. I was so excited when I saw the Evelyn pick. And they just they couldn't get it going.
There's pink wards on either side of where he would come in.
Pull on to Cris. He's going to get the ult from Zamphira. Zamphira going to be left to the dogs, though. The far side. Going to put the Q on. Choppers will lock him in place. Megazero flashes out over the wall. He's going to be okay for now. Last inhibitor turret coming under attack. Inhibitor turret gone. Down goes Janna. Cris into the pile. Going to burn down Chuuper. Chuuper going to see the flames. Flash out. Gets cleared. Ziploc getting chased down. Ult from Jinx. We'll remove 1. And finally a little vindication for Ziploc is nothing here. Grabs 2. Ziploc does some good work. And they go 4 for 2-ish on the overall. COG lost a couple before that.
Apparently, Lucian loved his wife so much he took not the best of lanterns at it. Put him right in range of Ziploc, and Megazero might be chasing him down a little bit. No, gonna actually leave him be.
You're gonna have to dive into the pit of souls, even if there's crones up there threatening to cut your string of fate, man.
Throw some Greek mythology here.
Welcome. I was just making everybody's life a little better, I think.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what it requires. Oof. He still gets hit, and they give him that little second of leniency. Baron is live. 4 members were down.
Ziploc not really beefy enough to stay in the front on this.
And they really don't have a tank aside from Cris, who just
They've got the damage.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Ooh, bombs late.
A little bit of a happy face.
It's
Not
more
gonna
like a
get you
whoopee
for it.
cushion. Yeah.
It does on that skin. It
Yeah.
really does. One of those pink ones that you get.
That's what I was thinking when I see it. I think, man, that looks like a whoopee cushion. So, gonna get a little bit back here. COG might be able to delay with a nice grab onto Baron after just what was, would you call it? I wouldn't call it necessarily an overcommittal. May end up spinning this Baron. Cleaning house, though. If the inhibitors back up, they can run CompLexity out, but CompLexity is certainly a threatening force. Top lane going to push their way. So COG with, a little blessing in disguise there.
Yeah, it's a 7k gold difference now, plus the Baron. Cognitive is kind of close in terms of stats, in combat stats, to actually fight CompLexity. And we just saw it in that last fight. If CompLexity puts himself in a bad position and groups up instead of spreading, then Cognitive's going to have a really good fight.
CompLexity going to rotate up top and take care of business there. Got the culling in play in case you just want to clear that quick fast. Where are they recalling to? Going to come back to mid-outer. They want to fight away from the terrain advantage. Very possibly.
And it looks like everybody's just keeping, the CS game is still the name of the game. 300's coming out for 5 members. Megazero slacking.
Gotta get back in there. Come on, man. Only 266. What's he even doing? It's like he's not even there. Still a huge front line. Still Jintae leading the pack with 356. Now with Cognitive spinning Baron buff, might be time for nothinghere to turn that one around. Actually trailing a little bit behind Cris now.
And they're really just looking for a fight here. It's really what it's coming down to. Rabadon's death cap completed for Zamphira. Baron is still ticking on them. They have this little window here. It's about half spent. That they can engage. Dragon's up in 30.
Ziploc looking for a way in.
Off on the side.
Wants to come around the backside, put a big slow on. Cris, ult is ready. He can hop over any old time. He's just going to tank out the turret, see if he can't draw him forward a little bit. Ninjaken threatening. And CompLexity showing that they're not going to just walk it on back. Going to try and show the front as much as possible. Jintae obviously still going to be able to just wipe these front lines off the field. Shorts the queue, but still gets it done.
Well, they're also showing that they're still scared of this team. And they hook on Cris. Not going
to be anything. It's just a little too much beef on him. Lag call there from Ninjaken. And they're going to be able to pick up Evelyn off to the side. Nothinghere sends a blind ult in. It'll be 1-for-1. Jintae, a big part of the force and lane clear here. They're going to be able to run Megazero low. Cris getting a big ult right there, and figuratively and literally, Ninjaken trying to work him down, but Cognitive with a good team fight. This could be huge. 39 minutes in. The respawn timer is going to be very big. Ninjaken and Jintae off the field. 40 seconds till the Yordle's back up. Could be a big turn here for Cognitive. The comeback play Riot was hoping for on display right here as a Baron grab really paying off big. Chuuper going to try and play it from the side as much as humanly possible. Going to land the hook onto Cris. Not the target they wanted. One more time. Chuuper going to be taken low, working down the turrets. Nothinghere, just eating it. They're going to pull him across with the lantern. Cris still big. Megazero running low as Nothinghere is putting damage down like a madman. Trying to get Megazero off the field. Can't commit to the turret till he's gone. Ult gonna heal him back up. Big ult from Zaineking right there. Second Nexus turret down. Nexus getting worked. Can COG finish the job? Yes, they can. Wow. Big comeback there from Cognitive on the back of a Baron grab. A greedy fight for CompLexity. Turns sour. They lose 4. And Cognitive goes on a run to shut it down in 40 minutes. Beautifully played.
They still don't even have a gold lead when they end the game. And that Baron was a straight slingshot. They were down about 10k gold, bring it back to 7k, and then they just bring it all the way back to just being 2k under, but they got kills on primary targets, and then they were able to close it out. Just well played by COG there, keeping their foot on the gas once they got the Baron, and CompLexity was on their back foot.
Absolutely gorgeous. They're going to go to 1-1 in the group rounds, and we will be